Welcome to episode 131 of The Endless Stream. I'm Aidan, and this week I am joined by Kevin. We are two artists, illustrators, filmmakers, all-round shit talkers, and each week we take some of the endless stream of content brought to you through Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, YouTube, Disney+, Amazon Prime. Wherever you get your content, we take a chunk of it, we watch it, and we talk about it. This week we are talking about new to Netflix, the movie Talk to Me. Slightly past October, a little late for Halloween, but it's the last in our spooky series of movies. So, if you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to the podcast, heading over to iTunes, heading over to Spotify, rating, reviewing, liking, subscribing, all of those good things really help us out. On top of that, you can head over to Instagram at The Endless Cast, where we put up artwork and clips to go with each episode. That's a great place to reach out, send us a message, suggest something for us to watch, suggest something for us to talk about, disagree with our opinions, tell us we're wrong. That's a place to do that. Otherwise, you can send us an email at theendlesscast@gmail.com, and you can do all the same things over there if you so feel. All of that being said, let's get into the episode. Does it pick up when you talk?
Yes.
Cool. Morning, Kevin. Happy All Saints Day.
Oh yeah, it's officially the Samhain, right?
Remember the 1st of November.
Yes. I see no reason, gunplot and treason or something. Gunplot and treason, I see no reason why it should never be forgot.
Yeah, I know of no reason this rhyme should ever be forgotten except its sort of archaic sentence structure. How was your Halloween night?
Halloween night here was pretty crazy. I don't know what it's like up in your high castle, but for us...
it's fortified, Kevin. It's fortified.
Sorry, fortified castle.
Fortified with iron.
But no, the fireworks in Dublin were absolutely fucking insane. It was absolute bedlam. I am telling you, it was non-stop. And it started early. Like when I brought Bill for a walk yesterday morning, there was a few going off, which was like around maybe like 8 o'clock in the morning. But by the time I got home, it was an absolute war zone.
Yeah, it's bonkers. Like, it hasn't been like that in previous years, right?
No, never that insane. Like, they've been going off since August.
Yeah. And this is what I was like, that day I met Catherine Friend in town. She was going to see The Lion King. And there were fireworks going off in broad daylight in a way that's like, this is just a noise now. You're not even getting the, yeah.
I love fireworks. I truly, truly love them. And I would pay money to go to a fireworks show. But, I've been around fireworks growing up. I'm sure all of us have been around fireworks growing up.
There we go.
Sorry. I've been around fireworks growing up. I'm sure all of us have been around fireworks growing up. I love fireworks. Fireworks are amazing. I'd pay good money to go to a good fireworks show. But, I've been around them and I know how dangerous they are. And that's all right. Kind of like, and even me and my friends at times have done foolish, stupid things with fireworks. Just blowing stuff up out in the countryside, you know. If we're going to do that, the damage anybody would have been to ourselves. But, the idea of the amount of fireworks that were going off last night in certain areas, and like the fact that there was like as probably in a chaotic environment as Halloween night in a green in some housing estate, how people aren't fucking more mutilated and destroyed, I have no idea. But I think the media doesn't report on it.
I think to a degree, yeah. I mean, the media isn't reporting necessarily on small injuries. Though that being said, I do think it's the kind of thing where we get statistics out of hospitals a month in or like 2 months in, and it comes up next year, you know. But I think I told you back in July, the fireworks in 4th of July in Chicago were the most mental thing I've ever seen. Like a fucking war zone. And I was really surprised to come back and go, oh, actually Halloween here has gone just as fucking mental. I mean, as long as I don't mind it, really. I kind of put fireworks into a category of just like, it's just something that happens. You make fireworks illegal, and as a result, you just get fireworks happening. But that's not necessarily a good mindset either. I mean, maybe they should be eliminated. But I don't know. When you criminalize fireworks, only the criminals have fireworks. Isn't that it?
I saw that on TV, like kind of a PSA before one of the YouTube videos, and it is illegal to have fireworks in Ireland. Do not use, sell, or whatever fireworks. There's a €10,000 fine and 5 years in prison. It's just like all the guards have to do is just step outside. Then the country wouldn't have to fucking tax the bejesus out of us for everything, put the prices up of everything. Just get all the fuckers with the fireworks. If they can spend hundreds on fireworks up north, they can spend 5 to 10,000 in fines or just 5 years in prison. I don't care either way.
So you're suggesting that the police should step in and arrest people setting off fireworks?
Why not? Yeah, fuck it.
I think what you're going to run into is, like, the police don't want to look powerless, and the minute you have footage nationwide of assholes in high-vis jackets running across a field after 40 children trying to stop them setting off fireworks.
But it's not always children. To be fair, it's mostly not. It's actually most part it's not children.
Most.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think, yeah, I mean, if they went around aggressively finding domestic scenarios, like gardens that had fireworks going in it, probably they'd stop, but you'd still end up with kids running around blowing up bangers.
Well, yeah.
I'm in a very futile mood, Kevin. It's all futile.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do like the drone option. Have you seen those? We've talked about drone displays in place of fireworks. They're cool. But did you get many trick or treaters?
No. We bought a bunch of sweets for trick or treaters, but I think we only got one. I wasn't here. Emer was. But to be fair, like, kind of, I don't blame people because the estate that we live in and the cul-de-sac we live in is quite, quiet and dark. So it's not as if like, the most inviting place for young trick-or-treaters.
You should have made it really inviting by putting on lots of scary lights and skeletons and noises that terrify children. Yes,
I should have next year maybe.
There was a house on my road here that went nuts, and I love that energy. I love that it's a recently moved in family, and they do go a bit nuts with Halloween. I don't know them at all. There was some through the grapevine neighbor muttering about when they were moving in, they were all yelling at each other, and it's so this image I have is of a very dystopian, aggressive, shouty family, but at the same time it's a high stressful time while they're trying to move everything into a house.
Yeah.
I do love the instinct to put together they had the 12-foot skeleton and they had a fucking smoke machine blowing and lights and music and skeletons, and they put fucking spiders up the front of the house, and
that's
they did
brilliant.
a good job. And my neighbors came by ours with their kids, and it's it's their first year trick-or-treating. Neighbors I would have grown up with. I opened the door and was faced with three people I knew growing up with their 2 children, and I was like, fucking hell, kids. That's weird. But they said that was the first house they went to, and as they approached the gate, both kids started crying. Because it was so fucking much.
Yeah.
That's why I'm joking. You should make the place really inviting by making it look like a well-lit, noisy death trap.
Yeah, so, I didn't have to do anything last night, and I got the same results. But, look, I like I said, I love fireworks. Fireworks are great. Fireworks in a controlled, safe environment are great, but we know the type of people that set them off, so it's just nah, there's no crack then if it's just antisocial and aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear you. Did you watch anything Halloweeny? Did you dress up last night?
No.
I saw the photo go up. Where did you wear the photo? Where did you wear the Ghost Rider costume?
Halloween party at the weekend. The party was good fun. The party was great fun. And people's costumes were amazing. People genuinely had amazing costumes. One couple went as that cover of Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Where
with the little brass balls.
Yes, yeah. A couple went as them, and they were very funny. That was it. Ema went as a psycho clown type of thing, which was very cool. Her costume was probably one of the better ones there, to be fair. She did really, really great. And I went as Ghost Rider.
Your costume was astounding. You got a great photo. You got a great photo of it.
Yeah,
at the very least, you took an amazing photo of it. It looked great.
Yeah.
Are you a little? Is it the scenario you are having where you all you see is the things that didn't go quite the way you wanted it to go, and you're missing the fact that it looks great?
No, I just don't think it looks that good, But I had fun making it and all that kind of stuff, which is the main thing. I had a good time with it. I just don't think it's it's fine. It's fun. It was fine. I do it again 100%, but I know how to kind of change things and make things better. And you remember the year you made the skull face?
Yeah, you'd go with that.
I would try and make something like that potentially could fit over my head.
Okay. Did you see what mask did you got? You got the rubber mask. I've seen like one advertised. It's like a nice plastic helmet that like the jaws articulated as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But no, like I said, I didn't know how I was going to make that Ghost Rider costume. I just knew I wanted to go as Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
So I just threw that costume together. Well, you know, I had a leather jacket at home and stuff. I just bought crepe paper. I saw that rubber skull mask around town somewhere, and then I made the fire headdress myself and stuff. But like, you can buy lights and pennies for $2.50. And I I'll repurpose them. I'd take them off the thing. I the headdress I made for the flames. I'll take that off and I'll put them somewhere else. But it's just kind of like, those lights are great for costumes.
Yeah. Well, you saw the like the little headdressy thing I made for like the goggles I made. Do you see the pictures of that?
Only videos.
Oh, okay. Well, it lit up. It looked right. You know, like it was good.
Yeah.
It was it was funny that it was just like a beacon. We went to Hogan's after the.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah.
We went to Hogan's after the comedy gig, and just like a half dozen women came up and just like, "Can I go on your goggles?" And I was just like, "Fuck off!" But like, it was like a light in the darkness that attracted fucking moths.
But like I said, that's the worst part of Halloween, is just like, if you have a nice costume, the people who just want to fuck around with it, it's just like, oh god. Do you
remember the video of P. Diddy? I hate that I called him P. Diddy. Do you remember the video of P. Diddy dressed as the Joker?
No.
He did a Heath Ledger Joker costume, and there's a video of him like fucking around in the street, and he really is being a complete cunt. He really is. And he turns, like, he's in the way of traffic, and some guy is ready to like fucking tear his head off. He's like starting to fucking fight, and it gets to a point where he kind of, I don't know what he says to say it, but he gives him a sort of like, "Don't you know who I am?" kind of thing, and it's like calm down, don't you realize I'm P. Diddy? And it's like, it was really like, people were just, I can't even remember the reaction to it, because it feels like he escalated a scenario and then kind of got praised for de-escalating it. But it's like, the guy he was starting the fight with was somebody, I think, wow, I've got half the information here, I think, who wanted to be kind of in that circle, and realized after he had been aggressive towards the leader of the group that he had made a mistake. You know, he had like, oh shit, I'm after pissing off the guy I'm trying to sort of hang around with. But I think what you got was a clear example of how you might deal with somebody who's being a cunt versus how you deal with a celebrity. So he wanted, you know, P. Diddy got the real person treatment and didn't like it. And the other guy is like, fuck, I've overstepped when I was trying to be a sycophant. I was actually normal.
So basically, Halloween was crazy with the fireworks, but that was fine. Like, we settled Bug down. She was all right. She just wouldn't go out to pee, which was annoying, but eventually got her go out. But we did watch a movie last night.
Oh, what did you watch?
We watched 2008's The Strangers, starring Liv Taylor.
I saw the trailer for that and never ever wanted to watch it because it's so scary. I hate home invasion movies. Yeah,
this is spooky, but it was good. Pretty good. I think Funny Games was worse though.
Funny Games. Is that a home invasion movie as well?
Like, I think so. Like, this is going to sound terrible. Like, so I went to the cinema, I don't know when. Eli Roth, I think it was Eli Roth. Eli Roth, yeah. He was in a remake of it, because I think originally it's a French movie, and then he was in the remake
of The Strangers,
of the Funny Games. And I think, and I saw it in the cinema with no context, no trailer, no nothing. So I went in there, and it was a pretty fucked up movie. It was shocking, but that's a home invasion movie. I thought that was a pretty bad home invasion movie. Everybody goes on about how bad The Strangers is. The Strangers is shocking. Don't get me wrong, it is shocking. But I definitely felt worse after watching Funny Games. Strangers was fine, but it is over 10 years old now at this stage.
Yeah, I think there's a couple examples of those movies. I can't remember the first time I was watching a movie and I went, wait, you mean somebody might just walk into your house for no reason and just be a monster? Is that a thing? Is that a thing that can happen? I thought what? You mean there's no motivation to like rob you or anything? It's just you are specifically just being a monster? So that freaked me out. It was like
Tim Roth, sorry.
Tim Roth. Who's Eli Roth?
Is he the director of Hostel and...
Oh, I thought you were naming the director. So Tim Roth is actually in that movie.
Yes, Tim Roth and Naomi Watts, and it's directed by Michael Haneke Haneke, I think is German, but he also did the original movie in
Oh, okay.
1997. So 10 years later, he did a US version.
Okay, so we're talking about The Strangers, or we're talking about Funny Games?
This is Funny Games. I'm still talking about Funny Games. I haven't talked about. Basically, it's a fucked up movie. But The Strangers, it's good. Home invasion movie. It's pretty creepy. What did you do for Halloween?
I edited a podcast, and then I sat on the couch and begrudgingly watched reality TV until everyone went to bed so I could go to sleep on the couch.
Okay.
I had a great time. I was trick-or-treating. Like, I wore a costume over the weekend. The party, like, Halloween's great. I love this festival. It's one of my favorite time of the year. I love the costumes. They're always so fun, especially when they get really creative.
What's the best costume you saw?
Somebody dressed as Miss Trunchbull.
Oh yeah, that was very good.
At the show. That was great. That was like for accuracy purposes. It was brilliant. Also, somebody dressed as a Druig from Droog. I keep adding an I into that. I think Druig rather than Droog. Somebody dressed as a Droog from Clockwork Orange, which was great.
Okay, very interesting.
Good costumes. Yeah. I of course did my Mad Scientist thing, but then I didn't. For actual Halloween, I just sort of sat inside.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's how it goes. You know,
So The Strangers.
spooky, scary.
Any thoughts?
Like I said, it's like kind of, so basically I was looking online for a good Halloween movie. Everybody was saying how this one was like really messed up and like really kind of like scared them and blah blah. So I had good hopes for it. I thought like I'd be left a little bit like on edge from it, but I wasn't. That's all.
Okay.
Did I watch anything? I watched a movie on Netflix called Nocebo over the weekend with Mark Strong
Okay.
and Ava Green.
So is that Sorry, you go ahead. You tell me.
Yeah, sorry. Can I finish?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to ask probing questions. Go on.
It was an Irish joint, I believe, Filipino production.
The Philippines have good production or film credits. I looked into them during animation researches.
Interesting. So this movie is about Ava Green, who is like who I believe had a fashion line or something, and she gets this horrendous phone call. You don't really know what the phone call is about, but she's like, "Oh my god, they're pulling bodies out of the place," and she has this mental breakdown. And then it skips 5 years, or like a couple of years, 8 months later, I think it is actually. And she's just this wreck of a woman. She, all the type of stuff is going on. She's trying to rebuild her career. She ends up getting a Filipino, how would you say?
Nurse?
Like, I don't think, no, I was going to say not nurse, maybe nanny. Nanny would be the right word. But they're traveling over from the Philippines anyways, and she didn't tell her husband that this was going on. So the husband arrives home and there's just a random woman living in their house,
Right.
And he wants her gone by a week, but she cooks for them, she cleans for them, she's really great, she's working really hard. And then it's just like, there's a twist and all that kind of stuff. Terrible movie. I didn't really enjoy it at all.
Okay.
Yep. I like Ava Green a lot and Mark Strong. But this movie is kind of
Ava
weak.
Green's somebody that gets like held up as a I don't know, maybe that's the circles I'm running in. She is liked. She is regarded well. She seems to have taste. She seems to have good instincts and performs well. But then when you run through the list of her fucking films, you're a bit like, what is this list of dog shit?
You see, she was in 300 and she was in the sequel to 300, sorry. And she was in the sequel, I think, to Sin City, which would have been two kind of big movies at the time with big casts and stuff. But at the same time, they went nowhere for her.
But
So
both
I think
of those are
Ava-
2014.
Yeah, I was going to
10
say,
years
like,
on.
the Ava, I was going to say, about 10 years ago, I think she was blown up, but not anymore.
Yeah. I think she was blowing up off Casino Royale, 2006.
It's like the Bond girl curse.
Yeah, I mean she's a bit better than that, but like it's interesting that like people are like that performance in Casino Royale, but like Vesper is so highly regarded as well. But it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm just emotionally dead. But like I watched it and was just like I don't know, it's fine. Casino Royale, The Golden Compass, that was a flop, right? It might have made money, but it was like a bad adaptation. People weren't happy with it.
Yeah, I never even saw it. Yeah.
Dark Shadows, the Tim Burton thing.
No, I think I watched it and it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I liked everything conceptually about it, but I think unless you're a fan of that TV series specifically, it's not going to mean much to you.
Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
It's a TV show.
Yeah. He's just remaking TV shows he likes. Like, again, Tim Burton's Batman is just Adam West's Batman with the Tim Burton skin on it. It's so goofy and like Dutch angled and like villains with henchmen. Like, we thought it was dark and dreary, or we thought it was dark and creepy and adult at the time, and it is, but it's like tonally it is the Adam West Batman, not a comic book Batman.
Yeah, like fair.
Which is fun. It's not fun. I loved that growing up. But Dark Shadows was a TV show. Again, think 60s, The Munsters, Addams Family, like spooky, creepy television. Right, okay. You know, like I Dream of Jeannie. There was a real like magical bent in TV in those days, you know? Like supernatural farces.
You know, I just didn't realize Dark Shadows was a TV show. That's the one where like it's like the kind of affluent family, the fishing.
Yeah, they're living with the vampire relative who's a couple of 100 years old. Yeah. Barnabas Collins.
Interesting. I get you. Interesting. Yeah, I've heard more people. Actually, look, it's a sign of the times, but it's just the way things are. I always hear more people now kind of like dissing Tim Burton's Batman's as opposed to praising him. That'll loop. That'll, you know, we'll loop and cycle. I get annoyed at like I literally just sent a clickbaity fucking headline into our chat there because it's just like, oh, this is annoying, but it's designed to annoy me because these are people that need to write articles. So you pick a thesis statement and you immediately argue the opposite of it like a dickhead, and then you get clicks. And I clicked on the fucking thing, and I laughed at like my reaction was I disagree so strongly I'm going to go buy the 4K Blu-ray to support the other thing. It's like that's probably what it was intended to do. Yes. Yeah.
It was basically saying that.
It's the worst. Billy Zane's Phantom costume is the worst superhero, like live action superhero costume.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's true.
It's bullshit. It's actually perfectly executed. He's missing the pants. Before Superman, they decided to ditch the pants there, but the pants were you can take or leave the pants, really. The only option I would have been disappointed with is if they went with the stripy pants, but the stripy pants were only done in comics in order to create like black and white texture differentiation. Like if it was just a black blob, it wouldn't have looked right.
Because I would say Catwoman's costume is worse. Halle Berry's Catwoman costume is worse.
Yeah. The 2000s X-Men leather outfits, like they're fine, and we were happy with them at the time, but they're not the superhero costumes. They're fine.
The lack of a superhero costume in Green Lantern and then the Flash's costume probably look worse.
Green Lantern's costume, Flash's costume in every Ezra Miller outing. Yeah.
Also, there was another one. There's another costume I wanted to say that was pretty bad. What was it? Oh yeah, like the Flash TV show. A lot of that DC stuff is bad.
Yeah, the Flash TV show was like, oddly enough, there's some connection to Burton's Batman because they were trying to get those. They were trying to build that universe together.
Okay, jeez.
Like it's like the same production designer or the same costume house or something. They really were trying to get those two things together and get a Superman in, and like they were starting to sort of like cohesive universe. Like they haven't. Marvel's the first one to make it work, but like they've been trying.
Yeah. Funny.
I guess the other thing, Halloween-wise, that was watched was Talk to Me. Finally, I saw Talk to Me.
Talk to me, yes. Talk to me about it, Aidan. What did you think?
I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's on Netflix now. Just because it's not, just because Halloween has happened, doesn't mean don't go watch this movie because it's awesome.
If you're into ratings and what these get online, Talk to Me has a 7.2 on IMDb and a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes. Now it's relatively new, so those things could change, but it's a very, very cool Australian movie from 2022.
From 2022?
Yes.
Is it now?
Yeah.
The lead in it, Sophie Wilde, she's great. The directors, Danny and Michael Philippou, they there's so much energy in the filmmaking. The whole montage sequence while they're doing these repeated seances is so great. That track choice, I think it's called Le Monde. The music they're playing when they're doing that, like where everyone's trying to
Contact the Dead.
It's so good. It rides this line of like being creepy. Like it opens with, I'm not going to spoil it, but like
No. I know you're not going to spoil it.
I see.
I just thought like I think we should just give people context of what the movie's about first.
Sure, go for it.
When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits with an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill and high-stakes party game until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. That's not even like the greatest explanation of it, but pretty much kids have an embalmed hand that they hold. Once they hold it, they can see a ghost. They can say like, talk to me or something. The ghost goes inside them and possesses them for a short period until they break the connection. And these kids are essentially kind of just getting off on it. They're getting high. It's a rush.
Yeah.
And it's just how far things go.
And the line in the trailer is something along the lines of like, the limit is 90 seconds. What happens after 90 seconds? They want to stay. Which is really funny.
Spoiler.
It's 8:24.
Spoiler alert ahead.
It's 8:24. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how spoilery we get. Do you want to talk about... I don't think we should get too spoilery.
Okay,
but we can talk about performance, and we can talk about set pieces and production design, and it just rides this line perfectly of like it opens with something really horrific. I think. Do you think? Cutting it out, it's the party where the guy goes to get his brother and gets stabbed, and your man stabs himself in the face.
Yes, yeah. Pretty brutal.
So it opens with something pretty brutal,
and
it's kind of letting you know immediately that like, here is some horror. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And then there's a tension based on that for ages. At what point does there is supernatural's goings on, but they're kind of ooky spooky and kind of creepy. And there's so much fun and energy. Like there's a shot very early on when we're meeting the characters, and it's like a great way of showing you how these kids like each other and have a great connection and buzz when they're like, you know, one of them calls Mia to pick him up because he's got left outside of school. So we've got a picture of like a slightly disorganized family, but like an extended family structure that is supporting one another. Like they all love each other. And they get in the car and they're just blasting Sia's Chandelier and singing it as loud as it can. And like, it's such a great way of showing that like these people really like each other and they're having a great time with each other, even under kind of stressful situations. So even then, when they start like that first moment, what did you like? Did you know anything about this film going into it, or did you?
Nothing. I don't even think I saw a trailer for it, man. I don't think so.
So what was your first thought when the hand came out of the bag?
Kind of like, what the hell is this? You know? Yeah. And I like it looked less menacing, but it was obviously intriguing looking. But it looked like menacing than I was actually expecting it to be. You know?
Yeah. It's a Ouija board type of movie. It's a seance movie. There's kind of a Jumanji to it. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, where does that hand end up? Who, like, Talk to Me Too is coming, right? And it's going to be TOO. Talk to me too.
Yeah, imagine, yeah. Well, we know, well, you know, I don't want to say it, but we know where the hand ends up technically.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've got a notion.
Very good. 6 hands were made for this movie in case anything got damaged or broken. And the director kept one of them.
This feels like something you'd have in your trivia corner because you're such a deep reader of lore. You'll know this answer.
I know I would.
Whose hand is it that they cast to?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know.
Like, is it the director or is it an art director? Like, okay, because you see, you knew nothing about this. I had seen the trailer, right? So, hand goes on the table. Did you get a jump the first time she says, "Talk to me"?
Oh, good question. I don't know. Probably didn't. I didn't. But it's all like you know, it's all very eerie, anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was more intrigued as on what the hell is going on. You know?
Yeah.
But apparently, the two directors, Danny and Michael Philippou, I want to say.
Yeah.
Philippou. turned down the chance to direct an unknown film in the DC EU in favor of having Talk to Me their directorial debut. Very interesting.
That's a much better decision. That's a much better decision.
Oh yeah.
Fair.
They saved their absolute careers.
Yeah. Thank God they didn't direct. What even would it be in DC?
Who knows? I don't know. Do I care anymore? I don't know.
Okay, so let's just doing a little sideways thing. You're reading about the directors, are you? Yeah.
Oh, I just read a couple of facts there, but nothing particularly.
They're
insane.
YouTubers.
They're YouTubers, yeah. I saw that there were 2 YouTubers, and this movie got backed. They have a massive following on YouTube, and this movie got backed by the Australian Film Board or whatever.
Yeah. That's great. That's so great. Like that is the best part of like YouTube and like Vine and TikToks and stuff. Like I remember when I first started looking at Vine and seeing how like people I actually would admire were using it for editing and like transitions and playing with stuff. It's like these tools just being put in front of kids and young people is just like it's a fucking intensive camp for filmmakers, you know? So for the fact that they were able to transition like making low-end and mid-end YouTube videos and horror spoofs and stuff. Like horror and comedy are so close to each other because they're just about surprise as much as anything else, you know?
Yeah, totally.
That's why Jordan Peele's stuff always works as well, you know? He just understands this concept of horror very well.
Very well. This movie was banned in Kuwait because it featured a very talented trans actor. What's her name? 1 second. Yeah, Zoe Terakes. Zoe Terakes. Could be Zoe Terakes, but I'm going to say Zoe. Z-O-E. Zoe?
Z-O-E is Zoe.
And they played Haley. But yes, they got banned in Kuwait because they're trans.
Got banned because they're trans?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't remember how they refer to this person in the movie.
The person they play a character. I think the character is female, but I'm not too sure how to refer to them in the movie because it could have a female name, but I don't know. Yeah. But like, what a weird thing. But anyways, it's like I don't even remember how the person identified in the movie. It's irrelevant. But then it gets banned in another country because of it. It's nuts.
Identifies as non-binary and trans-masculine. Yeah, I mean, like, they definitely bring a mask energy, but like, yes. I just don't presume anything anymore, or I don't presume. Give me a medal, guys. I don't presume.
Yeah, very good.
Thanks. They were great. They brought this very aggro, flippant, punky vibe. They were a cool, like, I don't want to say bully, but there was a they were
that type.
Yeah, they were like the peer pressure character,
kind of gruff, cool kid. They were in Nine Perfect Strangers, I believe, and I've seen that, so I knew I recognized them from somewhere before. So they're probably the biggest name in the movie. Oh well, no, because the mother is technically a big name in it, but like Zoe's in a movie with or Zoe's in like Nine Perfect Strangers, which has like Nicole Kidman, Melissa McCartney, Michael Shannon, Luke Evans, Manny Jacinto.
Well, I'll just say that
Bobby Cannavale.
The lead in it, maybe it's just the nature of her being the lead, is
it was her first major role in a big, I think, first role.
Playing Mia. She's in a Netflix show now called Everything Now. Like, it's so weird that like it Talk to Me hit and then Everything Now hit at the same time. I guess they just know what they're doing as well to some degree. Playing Mia, same name. Don't know why that happened. Weird. So look, the premise of the movie is stay over 90 seconds and the thing wants to stay.
Yeah, and it's brutal. There is some brutal scenes that happen in it.
And that's what I was getting to when I was saying that the first 90 seconds tell you that this movie is going to be fucking brutal.
Yeah, it does.
And then it's nice and spooky and fun to the point that you forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when the brutal happens and you are crawling out of your seat, which I was like hands on the couch beside me, pushing my ass up, going, I can't look at this. I was sitting there and my first thought was, how could they do that? That's not what this movie is. That's so upsetting and such a switch. And then I went, no, hold on. No, they told me from the beginning what this was.
Yeah.
And this is in line with what that was. But it's...
Yeah.
There's a lull, you forget about it, and it then just becomes horrific.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you have somehow managed to go through this Halloween season without watching Talk to Me, you've done yourself a disservice. Definitely the highlight breakout horror movie of the month or the year, I'd say. So good.
Yeah, those guys are gonna to my mind, don't make any sequels of this. If you want to monetize it and hand it to someone else to make fucking sequels, let them go and fucking ruin the franchise. You've made gold.
They have said that they do want to, but there's nothing official.
They should stay away from it if you ask me. Like it's a Jaws scenario. You've made Jaws, no people don't remember that Spielberg made Jaws 2 because he shouldn't have. He just should have kept moving. But I understand why in an early part of a career you do the thing that's making you money. But they've made their Jaws. Now move on to your E.T. or whatever the fuck. They did a great job. There's some beautiful transitions in this as well. I like the
super well shot.
It's super well shot. It's nicely edited. There's moments that like I'm a huge Edgar Wright fanboy, and they're doing the stuff I love about Edgar Wright, which is like using all of the elements that you can of filmmaking, using the camera, using the lights, using the editing. It's not just standing there and saying lines.
Yeah, we got big names and we have a big budget. It's just like no.
Yeah,
you can none of those things make a movie good. It's always going to be,
So I'm thinking specifically of a moment where Mia is like zoning out and kind of going catatonic and the world is blurring around her and she's walking through a hallway in a hospital, and as the world blurs around her, in one shot she's walking, someone just goes, Mia, and she looks to her right, and the background, you didn't quite notice the transition. She walked from the hospital hallway and now she's in her living room with her dad. And it's such a, again, I don't know that there's digital editing or what trickery is being played. Like when you're shooting movies, it could just be a set, she's walking down a hallway and the hallway turns into the living room set. But it's super effective.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Like,
losing time kind of thing.
Yeah. Just the concept of it's so wild, like kind of seeing the kind of ghost dead person in front of you and then letting them possess you. Like, what a great concept.
It's such an unnerving thing. Even the idea of possession is unnerving. Yeah. The idea of being harmed by a spirit or self-harm or anything like that is unnerving. The grief that she's feeling, again, it's the combination of elements at play. Like Hereditary works so well as well because that mother is grieving the loss of her mother and her child subsequently, and you feel that grief and you feel how that grief affects a family. Then you add onto that the uncomfortable concept that when we die, we are these transient, mutilated, present spirits.
Yeah, wandering.
Desperately trying to make contact. There's so much in this movie to be upset by. 5 stars.
Yes, 5 stars. And the ending is brilliant. The ending is so clever.
Yeah.
It's so clever. Sorry, just looking at it, bits of it there. Brilliant. So good. Speaking of Australian things, because I've watched a few Australian things recently, actually. Last Stop Laramie.
Last Stop Laramie. Tell me about that.
It is a technically true crime documentary.
It's a documentary.
Yes, true crime documentary. I think it's on Netflix.
Where to watch Last Stop Laramie? It says HBO Max subscription.
Oh, I watched it on. Oh no, it's on Netflix. Last Stop Laramie. Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
I was like, I watched it on something.
European
it's just 2
distributions can
episodes.
be different.
It's just 2 episodes. It's phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
so good. Basically, Laramie is a small town, a very small town in Australia. Population is like 11 people. And one of them goes missing, presumed dead. And basically, it's like somebody in the town is the murderer. Who is it? It's very good. It's like they're all very like kind of, you know.
So it's
one of those-
documentary. Are they using the real people?
yeah.
And did they just go into this town going, holy shit, I'm looking at pictures of these people?
Yeah.
There's a man in there that's a skeleton.
Yes.
Is he okay?
No, none of these people are okay. It's a fascinating look into it, or a look into kind of just human behavior or something. I have no idea. But the guy you're talking about,
Yeah.
basically, like, kind of, you know, he was married to a woman. They got separated. He moved across the road and stayed there out of spite. That's what spite does to you.
Woof.
Yep.
So there's like 12 people there. How do you roll
Yeah.
into that town and go, we're going to talk to you and we know one of you is a murderer, and like it's a 1 in 10 chance you're talking to a murderer? And there's also the murder on the Orient Express scenario as well. Like if enough of the people in that town didn't care for one person, there's no telling that a bunch of them didn't get rid of him.
See, that's
Spoilers
the
for
vibe
Murder
you-
on the Orient
that's-
Express.
That's the vibe you get from the show, like, you know. I'm not going to go into it, but certainly like kind of something they definitely play on, you know. But it just transpires that so obviously someone goes missing,
Right.
someone dies,
Yeah.
right? And then the news start reporting on it, and I can't remember again. It's like, sorry, I always forget different bits and pieces, but I can't remember again. But it's like one of the news agents, or sorry, one of the journalists, the news journalists, learns that years prior, somebody went in and had interviewed all these people, had interviewed the guy who had been kind of missing, presumed dead, murdered, had interviewed all the residents. They had hours and hours of interview footage from these people. They knew what made them tick. They knew the different grievances between each other and all that kind of stuff. So they knew so much. So it was so cool to watch this documentary spliced with the old interviews, brand new interviews, and then the different things that are going on. It's really, really good. 2 episodes, part 1 and part 2. 51 minutes is the first one, an hour and 8 minutes is the second one. It's so good.
Cool.
It's definitely worth a watch. I saw
That's
people.
a great recommendation. And
I
it's
saw
got
people
crazy
kind
high
of-
reviews.
Yeah, I saw people kind of saying, "Oh, the new Tiger King." Don't look at it like that. You know, that stuff spoils stuff. It's I like, you know, it's great. It's great. Tiger King is different. You know, this is brilliant. You know, Tiger King in parts was funny because it was so ridiculous. This isn't really funny, but it's very entertaining. It's weird. It's a good one.
Okay, cool. I mean, Australia is a spooky space to begin with.
I know. I was trying to tell you because like something like, oh, how many people go missing a year? It's like 300. Maybe it's like more. But I think they say like 380 or something, right?
Yeah.
But
Well,
and Emer's.
I'm just agreeing. I don't know that. I'm just taking your word on that.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Go on.
Hang on. I'll Google it.
You actually looked at the numbers, did you?
I think they mentioned it in the show.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was going to say 38,000. I think 380, but 38,000 people go missing each year in Australia, right?
Wow.
But Emer's just like, how is that possible? And I said to Emer, bring up a map of Australia and look at where Australia is populated. It's just populated on the coast.
Yeah.
Like Australia, mainland Australia, or inland Australia, or whatever you want to call it, is barren.
Yeah.
And it's fucking scary and it's terrifying. Shit goes, I say wild shit happens out there.
Yeah.
Laramie is like an example of kind of, you know, one of those more distant, smaller community type of things. But of course, 38,000 people go missing in Australia. It is a vast, empty space. Terrifying. It's like if all of it was the Wicklow Mountains
For sure.
in terms of scary, dodgy things.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer of staying in populous
Yep.
areas. I knew a quote from Sherlock Holmes, because Watson was just like, "Oh, the countryside, what a lovely place," and the quote was something along the lines of, I remember thinking, this is so fucking true. You look at those scattered houses and you are impressed by their beauty. I look at them and the only thought which comes to me is a feeling of their isolation and of the impunity with which crime may be committed there.
Yes, I grew up rural, and I, of course, you know, I like my childhood and all that kind of stuff. It was fun to be kind of playing in fields and all that kind of stuff. But as an adult, I listened to a lot of shitty schlickers, as we call you, shitty schlickers. And a lot of people my age would romanticize, oh, I just want to live in a house in the country and do this and do that. And it's just like, that's cool. That's fine when you're young and you're capable and all that kind of stuff. But as you get older, and it's younger than you think, but as you get older, that becomes real isolating real fast.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden, like you can have a, you know, for example, you could have a family home out in the country, raise your kids and blah, blah, blah. They're 18, they move out. You're in your 50s, and all of a sudden it's just like, you know what? I'm kind of in this big empty house in the middle of nowhere, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. This seems to be a theme he revisited in a number of books. There is no lane in London so vile that the scream of a tortured child or the thud of a drunkard's blow does not beget sympathy and indignation among the neighbours, and then the whole machinery of justice is ever so close that a word of complaint can set it going, and there is but a step between the crime and the dock. But look at these lonely houses, each in its own fields, filled for the most part with poor folk who know little of the law. Think of the deeds of hellish cruelty, the hidden wickedness which may go on year in, year out in such places, and none the wiser.
Fair.
This is why I don't want to go on like weekend trips away.
Weekend trips away to the country are great, and the country's great, but it can be scary certain times. Like everywhere, the city is it's kind of like as isolating as the country is. You're safer there. You might feel more vulnerable. You might be more vulnerable, but you know, there's a difference. I don't know about the screams of a child in London getting much attention. I'd say people look the other way.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like he doesn't say that people intervene and help. He says it gets sympathy.
Yeah, which means
and then that a word of complaint could set them to going.
Yes'm. Everywhere scary, populated cities when there's nobody there. But you see, that's it. You look at horror movies and like say 28 Days Later. Like, what's scary about that? It's like he's in the city alone. But you put a character in the countryside. They're in the countryside alone.
Yeah.
But it's never if they're alone that's scary. It's the thing if they're not alone.
Yeah. Well, that's like it's like, where is The Strangers set? Is that rural or suburban?
Rural. It's rural, definitely rural.
See people in the countryside. Yeah. People in the countryside.
People in the countryside, but they were probably shitty slickers. Actually, they were staying in the country house. They actually they were staying in one of the partner's country house. Yeah. But
and country people are monsters. And the country poor, lovable city folk.
Country people are monsters. I've seen The Hills Have Eyes.
And Wrong Turn, which is Tree Hills Have Eyes.
Yep, for sure. I read Crypt of Shadows, Marvel's one shot. Friend of the podcast, Declan Shabby, wrote a story for this one.
Right.
The story features Victor Strange, I want to say.
Victor Strange.
Isn't that Doctor Strange, or is it James or something?
What's Doctor Strange's brother called? Tell me, I don't know. Doctor Strange's brother?
Yeah. I can't remember.
Is he a vampire?
Yes. Vampire trapped in a mirror.
How did I know that? Trapped in a mirror?
Yeah. He's trapped in a mirror in the inner sanctum. Well, he was. So, the first story...
Sorry, how is that not in a movie?
The first story features Scarlet Witch.
Right.
And it's called Brick by Brick. Written by Steve Orlando, artist Paul Azeka or something. His art is great. I actually really like the art in that story. Really, really cool. Check it out. But that's just a kind of a story of a haunted house and the benevolent spirit that actually kind of like haunted the brick or the concrete that was made. They made the brick and different things like that. Like, but it's killed loads of people. Scarlet Witch sorts it out, or does she? The bricklayer will return. Pretty, really good. And then Victor goes on to talk more, but there's a story. So basically, this is a one-shot comic that features Deadpool, the Hulk, Scarlet Witch, and Daredevil. The Man-Thing, the Living Mummy, Werewolf by Night, I think it is, and then that bricklayer monster.
So are these independent stories, or are these like a story that features all these characters?
They're independent stories,
right?
But like kind of at the end of the book, it says like, if you like more of this, read this issue, or you know, basically the living mummy one I think was one of my favorites because he's just so cool looking. It's Deadpool and the living mummy. Like kind of, I'm not the biggest like say the biggest Deadpool fan, but the Living Mummy in this story, it's just like, oh, he's such a cool character. He looks amazing. How are they not doing like cool stuff with him? You know, like so cool looking, and a kind of a dark story. And it's like the end question mark, you know. So all of these kind of stories end on a question mark essentially, and each story is broken up by Doctor Strange's brother, kind of talking about them, and you know,
Oh, really?
you know, the
Crypt Keeper kind of way.
Keeper sense, yeah.
That's fun.
And Declan Shalvey wrote a story featuring Daredevil called Without Fear with artist Alex Ling. This story was really cool. I really liked it because you know the whole tagline. What is it? The Man Thing's tagline: "Fear burns at the touch of the Man Thing."
So goofy.
Oh, what was it? Oh,
Beware
shit.
the dick of the Man Thing.
Yes. But Daredevil's like there's nauseating smell, blah blah blah, and then it's like the being known as Man Thing. A Man Thing's trying to stay kind of out of the way of everybody, but Daredevil's chasing this member of the Hand down into like a subway underground type of thing, and bumps into the Man Thing. Man Thing is so cool looking. He is so cool looking. I love that design. But it's like Daredevil. How does Daredevil, does the Man Thing affect Daredevil? He can't, because Daredevil is the man without fear.
Right.
And that's the end. But then there's a Werewolf by Night story kind of with the Hulk and another monster. Oh, Kraven. Kraven the Hunter's in it. It's a weird one. It's like Kraven's hunting the Hulk and the Werewolf by Night stops him. But then at the end it says, like, you know, kind of out of the shadows, Doctor Strange brothers released from the mirror world. And then it says, keep exploring the dark side of the Marvel Universe. Scarlet Witch issue 9 on sale now. The Hulk on sale. Like, you know, follow Scarlet Witch in, follow the Man Thing in, follow Werewolf by Night in, and you know, the stuff like that. They don't have follow the Living Mummy in, because that's a pity, because the Living Mummy was so cool. More of that.
Well, the
basically, it was a fun little comic. I'd recommend picking up.
yeah, and it does feel like Marvel's trying to lean into the like horror stuff a little bit, right?
Man, the new Hulk and the new Ghost Rider stuff is super horror.
Yeah, it does feel like the comics are trying to like prepare audiences for upcoming horror movies. You know, where we did set up later, like the Dark Knight and the Black Knight, and stuff in Eternals was leading to
And Blade and things.
yeah, Blade's coming. Like, I don't know if that is still coming.
Don't think
Still coming. What do you think of the? What do you think of the? Did they say that the Daredevil show has a new showrunner?
Oh, well, I think we talked about it before. They said that Daredevil kind of, they shot half of it, then cut it. They're going to shoot a pilot, take it from there.
Let me just double check this. I think that they got the showrunner. The new showrunner is Dario Scardapane, who has a ton of TV experience and worked on Netflix's Punisher.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it's a Punisher producer to be the showrunner. So that's a question then. You know, how do we feel about the idea that like Marvel is using these shows or taking a new approach on these shows, but they seem to be going to people that worked on the Netflix stuff? Like, is that because the Netflix stuff was so good that we want to go back there, or is that a bad idea? What do you think?
Like, I mean, if the guy is tried and tested and they were happy with his stuff and people received it and people are happy, then it's a good thing. But like, I don't know. Should it just kind of, I don't know. You know, the Daredevil show was good, but like the Defender stuff and Dagger Fist stuff left a really bad taste in my mouth.
The Daredevil stuff was good. I liked the Punisher stuff.
I didn't see season 2 yet.
Oh, go watch season 2.
Yeah, I haven't seen season 3 of Daredevil either.
Man, you need to like. The thing is, I don't want to watch them again. Otherwise, I'd say I'd come out and watch them with you. But like, do watch them. Like, maybe we could have a bit of a recap there, because like I want to watch Jessica Jones as well. The other thing to mention is, I mean, this may be a little bit of time after, by the time this gets posted, but Matthew Perry passed away.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, poor old Matthew Perry.
I was pretty bummed by that, because I really liked Matthew Perry.
Yes.
Like Friends, as I don't know, as cynical as you can be about Friends and its ever presence in Irish television and Channel 4 and stuff, like that show started 93, 94. Like a 7-year-old Aiden loved Chandler. He was the witty one. He was the sharp one. He was the one who always had a comeback.
I thought Chandler was the best for sure.
100%. I followed him into The West Wing. I followed him onto Fools Rush In. I followed him onto Almost Heroes. I followed him onto Studio 60. I'm currently watching Studio 60. I was on like episode 4 of Studio 60, like doing a little rewatch when he passed away there during the week. So he was one of those guys that I just always wanted him to sort of... I always hoped he'd find his sort of comfortable groove in life, and he just never seemed to.
But a lot of the Friends cast kind of haven't, with the exception of Jennifer Aniston and maybe David Schwimmer.
I mean, do we think that Matt LeBlanc is having a lot of trouble in the world?
Well,
does he? I mean, everybody has their personal issues and whatever the fuck, you know. But
well, I mean, just think of like, you know, saying, you know, your star continually rising, whatever, you know, or staying whatever relevant. He definitely. Well, you know, it's like any of those things, man. Like boy bands or any pop bands or anything, like, you know, your stars could have kind of dim a little bit.
Everything moves in cycles, really. You know, like it. You don't have 100% of success 100% of the time, but like he had done that remake of The Odd Couple. Like he still worked. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, he still worked. He still worked loads and all that kind of stuff. It's just, as you said, you're kind of hoping he'd kind of find his niche or find his you know, his way or his part or whatever. But like, you know, it's a great cast in that show in Friends, and like you know, they're all obviously very talented actors and things. It is very sad though. Big moment. You know, especially for people in around our age, we like there's nobody not familiar with him that's our age in the Western world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, for the most part, obviously. But yeah.
So just as we come to the end, is there anything you want to watch for next week?
I've not watched any Loki. I need to catch up on Loki.
Okay,
I heard
I'm going to watch a chunk of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's as good a shout as anything
you want to watch.
I'm trying to think, like what's sort of good in the autumn time, or is there anything classic that we haven't watched or thought of? Is there a Matthew Perry movie?
I was just going to say though, Apocalypse Clown is on Netflix now, and I've not watched it.
There we go. Let's watch Apocalypse Clown. Okay. Apocalypse Clown on Netflix now.
Yeah.
Let me just see if I can just give you a quick. Let's find the synopsis off of the internet. After a mysterious technological blackout plunges Ireland into anarchy and chaos, a group of washed-up clowns travel the country for one last shot at their dreams. Released 2033, directed by George Kane. It's got a bunch of Irish comedy scene heads in it as well, people I don't know, but it's great. It's great. It's great that it's there. Let's watch it and find out if it's great.
Yep. Okay, and I'm going to leave right now, but The Whole Nine Yards is leaving soon on Netflix. If you've not watched it, watch it. That's a good one.
Matthew Perry wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we watched that for the podcast, didn't we?
No.
I feel like we did. No, we didn't.
No.
Right, I got to go.
Amanda Peet in Whole Nine Yards. She's in Studio 60 as well.
Gotta go. Bye.